For the past 50 years, ever since the Supreme Court decided Roe v. Wade, women in America have had the right to choose whether or not to have an abortion. And now it looks like that right is going away.
Bombshell, the Supreme Court poised to strike down Roe versus Wade. That, according to an unprecedented leak of the justice's draft opinion overnight, a decision would alter the nationwide battle over abortion.
The blockbuster story broke overnight on the Politico website, reporting that a draft of the Supreme Court's opinion shows the court overturning Roe v. Wade in a blistering ruling.
Tensions flared outside the nation's highest court after an unprecedented leak. But the bombshell report comes as 5 states have enacted strict abortion restrictions and sweeping bans, many of them ready to immediately cut off access to care.
If the high court does overturn Roe versus Wade, over 20 states are poised to immediately ban abortion.
That's right, people. If the court's decision is released officially, abortion will be illegal in about half the states in America. Yeah, that means all across the country, women in places like South Dakota or Missouri or even Texas will have the exact same abortion rights as women in Afghanistan under the Taliban. Yeah, and just think about that. We just evacuated people out of Afghanistan, and now we're going to have to evacuate them out of Tennessee? And isn't it amazing? After all these years of the right screaming about the threats of Sharia law, it turns out they were just jealous. Now, to be clear, Roe v. Wade hasn't yet been overturned, right? This is a leaked draft from February. It's not official. Like, for all we know, the opinion could change by the time it's released, or the justices who signed on to it in February could change their minds. It is not likely, but it's technically possible. I mean, like, who knows? Maybe Justice Alito will try ayahuasca and come back with a totally new perspective on the universe and how we're all connected. Or maybe between then and now, one of these justices will have a daughter, and then they'll understand. Wait, hold on. Oh, I'm being told 4 of them do have daughters. Oh. Okay, well, that's up. But it's important to remember how we got here. Because keep in mind that poll after poll shows that a majority of Americans don't want Roe v. Wade to be overturned. But the GOP didn't care about that. No, they didn't care about winning over the people. They just cared about getting enough justices onto the court to get what they want. Basically, they use the same tactic that asshole friend of yours uses when they're ordering pizza. Hey, what topics does everyone want? What do you want on the pizza? Extra cheese and pepperoni. Well, I'm ordering, so it's anchovies and pineapples. Dick. And that's basically how you end up with a Supreme Court decision that amounts to a hostile takeover of America's reproductive rights.
The draft opinion is apparently written by Justice Samuel Alito. The language of this draft is blunt, at times scornful. Justice Alito apparently writing that Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. He calls it an abuse of judicial authority and adds it is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives.
Justice Samuel Alito says, quote, "The inescapable conclusion is that the right to abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's history and traditions."
Yeah, believe it or not, according to this argument, there actually is no fundamental right for women to control their own bodies. Yeah, lawmakers could pass laws giving them that, but that right is not part of this nation's history and traditions, which is kind of true. I mean, the history of this nation is that men can control what women do, and that's what we want to go back to, right? Progress? Yes, am I getting it right? I mean, but then again, the right to an abortion has also been around for 50 years now. Think about it. You want to talk about history and tradition? I think it's safe to say that that's a tradition at this point. Like, if you go without electricity for a weekend, you're camping. If you go without it for 50 years, you're Amish, motherfucker. That's just who you are. That's just who you are. And most people thought the freedom to choose was just how America was. No one ever thought the GOP could just roll it back by playing a reverse Uno card. They didn't know it was a thing. I mean, okay, for perspective, consider this. It wasn't until the year after Roe v. Wade that women in America got the legal right to have a credit card without a man. Think about that. Yeah. And I think we would all agree it would be a little weird if the court was suddenly like, look, if the founders wanted women to have credit cards, they would have said so. They would have. And look, this ruling is bad enough on its own, but it also sets a new precedent that could make things even worse. Because if the right to privacy that Roe is based on doesn't actually exist, then all sorts of things could become illegal. Contraception, gay marriage, sex before marriage, adultery, masturbation. I mean, everyone assumed that these things were here to stay. Yeah, but give this court some time and you can just wake up and find yourself back in the 1960s, except you wouldn't have hitchhiking, which was the best part of the 1960s. Yeah, back then everyone was an Uber driver. And now, despite how it may sometimes feel, the Supreme Court is not the only branch of government, right? There's still also the president and Congress and the Illuminati. Wait, sorry, no, I didn't say that last part. Sorry, just the president and Congress. And so because of that, elected officials from both parties immediately weighed in on the stunning news.
If we had to pick a word that our caucus feels, it's infuriated.
It's sweet because we're finally vindicating the Constitution.
It concerns me a great deal that we're going to, after 50 years, decide a woman does not have a right to choose.
This is a great victory. It's a great victory for God.
I have seen the world where abortion is illegal. And we are not going back.
Republican Senator Susan Collins calling this decision, quote, inconsistent with what Justices Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh said in their confirmation hearings and in her private meetings with them before she agreed to vote for them.
Really, Susan Collins? You're really going to tell us that you didn't think the conservative justices were going to overturn Roe v. Wade? You didn't think that? That's their whole thing. It's like letting Pac-Man borrow your dots and then being shocked that he ate them all. That's what Pac-Man does. How are you the only person on earth who doesn't know Pac-Man? I mean, look, I will say in Senator Collins' defense, it is insane. It really is insane that Supreme Court justices can just lie in their job interview without any repercussions, right? You couldn't even do that shit at Kinko's. If you claimed that you're an expert at clearing paper jams, and then when you get there, all you know how to do is make copies of your butt, Kinko's is going to fire you. So obviously, Republicans are ecstatic, and Democrats are furious. And technically, Democrats could legalize abortion through Congress if they get rid of the filibuster. The only problem is they don't have the votes to do that. Although, who knows? Susan Collins is so gullible. You know, Chuck Schumer can probably get her to sign on to the filibuster reform by just hiding it in a birthday card.
Yeah, that's right. Just sign here. It's a group thing for the whole group. And everyone's going to... It's a janitor's birthday. We're all signing. Just sign here. Yeah, his name is Phil Buster. Sign here.
Now, what's really interesting about this story is that while many people are upset about the decision itself, some people are only upset that we're hearing about the decision.
I have never, as you said, seen a leak like this at the court in the years that I've covered it. It is astonishing that somebody would release a draft opinion outside of the court.
This is as corrosive, as destructive to the Supreme Court as we've ever seen.
This is an insurrection against the Supreme Court.
The justices must be able to discuss and deliberate in an environment of total trust and privacy.
It is not up to a law clerk to decide when the decision of the court will be announced.
This should have never happened. They should be able to make decisions in private and secret, and then once they're ready to decide and let the country know how that they have ruled, let it out.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I understand why these people are upset. You heard what they said. The conservative majority on this court has a fundamental right to choose when they want to release a decision into the world. Imagine having some random person violate your privacy and make that choice for you. Who would do such a thing? It's crazy. It's crazy how conservatives always manage to make themselves the victim in any situation. I mean, they have just accomplished this thing that they've been working towards for 50 years. And their first reaction is, it's so unfair what's happening to us. Well, I'm sorry, what? You wanted your ruling to be a big surprise and now someone ruined it? Yeah, I'm really sorry that this decision to colonize every vagina in America wasn't given the respect and dignity that it deserved. Yeah, right now you all sound like a serial killer who's upset that your potential victim busted you in the back seat. You weren't supposed to look here. You were just supposed to sit in the front, and then I was going to put a bag on your head, and now it's ruined. I hope you have a happy life. So look, man, understandably, today has been a very frustrating and upsetting day for most people in the United States, and we'll keep watching to see how this develops. But for now, though, let's check in on the weather with our very own Desi Leidick, everybody! Crazy day, Desi. Wild day. What's happening across the country?
Well, as you can see behind me, Trevor, in about half the states in this country, women's rights are being burnt to the goddamn ground. Because if this court decision becomes a reality, women in these states are screwed. And not just the normal, like, I live in Texas screwed.
Yeah, I have to agree, Desi, because, like, it is a horrible day for women's rights to choose.
Yeah, well, actually, Trevor, women do still have the right to choose. We can choose who to blame for this mother shit show of a travesty. Yeah. Like, for example, I choose to blame Donald Trump and Susan Collins and Mitch McConnell, all great choices. Thanks to them, every red state uterus is about to be public domain again, like a Yankee Doodle dandy of reproductive organs. You know what? I'm even choosing to blame the Democrats. Yeah, that's right, for not being aggressive enough, for not codifying Roe when they had the power to. Yeah. For not visiting frickin' Wisconsin. It is not that hard to get there. I did it once by accident. There is so much blame to go around. It's like a raging blame gauntlet, or RBG for short.
Oh, damn, I see what you did there.
Oh, did you? Do you? What? I'm just using that common phrase we all know, raging blame gauntlet.
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Look, women truly have endless choices when it comes to who to blame for this. I blame the way society has made this a woman's problem. I also blame the patriarchy and sperm and having gym teachers teach sex ed. It does not look like a banana, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes it actually can.
And you know what? I also choose to blame the media. And what about those stupid pink pussy hats? They didn't do shit. I'm blaming evolution, because why did we get the uteruses? Or God, why did he give us the uteruses? And yeah, you know what? I think it's safe to say now God's a man. And you know what else, Trevor? I'm pissed at whoever leaked this.
Wait, you're upset about the leak?
Yeah, of course. We could have been living in ignorant bliss for the next 2 months before women legally become dystopian diaper genies. It's the worst spoiler ever. But you know what, Trevor? I just have to say, the most important choice that we can all make now is to not accept this. We can choose to fight back. We can choose to put pressure on our lawmakers. We can choose to donate to abortion rights groups. Yeah. And
I hear you there.
yeah. And most importantly, I am choosing to take the rest of the week off.
Wait, what?
Yeah, all women, we're all taking the rest of the week off. That's cool,
Desi,
right?
everyone.